Well, I've been in Thailand about 40 years, a long time. I don't think it's quite 40 years yet, but pretty close. I can tell you that the feelings that one gets by living here is sometimes pretty lonely and very alienating, and I've shared that with people and they pretty much say they feel pretty much the same way. But I have the advantage of going over and walking over to Central, and sometimes I start a conversation with people and I invite them back to my cafe and generally interview them. And a lot of my YouTube videos are concerned with this, with the kind of people that come to Thailand and their story. In fact, I find it really fascinating for most of these people, and getting to know them and making some brand new friends, which I'm doing almost every day. Sounds great. Great.
Hello.
Hello to you.
Hello.
Well, first of all, I got to tell you a short story. There's a place where I buy all my technical stuff. It's got this strange name. It's called Easy Mall. And what the hell does that have to do with photography and filmmaking? I have no idea. Anyhow, these two people were in the store, and I had no idea what they were buying. But this guy was so handsome when I met him. So this is Jay, and I'm Jerry, and anybody with J in front of their name makes me happy. Yeah. So I'm so narcissistic. I'm afraid my false teeth will fall out. And this is Alissa. Yeah. And they are married, and I thought they were wonderful because when I came in, I think you helped me. I don't remember with what, but you did help me.
Translation, yeah.
Was it translation?
Right.
Oh, you translated to the guy who runs the store.
Right.
I might as well be a deaf mute, but I mean, he doesn't understand me all the time. But sometimes he orders stuff for me and I didn't order it. No. So I was just interested in it. I asked him a question about it and he called me up, we have it. The store ordered it for me. I think that happened to me once with him. But he's a nice guy, very pleasant people there. And they're in competition with the photo store on top, the
Photophile.
Photophile, yeah, which is really expensive. On most things, I found them pretty expensive. Easy Mall is not cheap, but it's better than Photophile. Do you shop there all the time?
I have shopped in Photophile, I have shopped in Big Camera, I have shopped in World Camera, I have shopped in Easy Mall, and I find Easy Mall to be the cheapest of all these.
Really?
Really.
Yeah.
Depending on what we are buying. So there's another company called Zoom Camera.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen that one, but that's probably at the World Trade Center. Well, they call it Central right now. So maybe that place is there. They sell pretty much pro stuff.
They actually deal with Nikon, Canon, actually every other brand, but everything is standard price. So they don't give any kind of customer discount. But when it comes to Easy Mall, they have their store discount. Yeah. Which is almost, for some of the lenses and cameras, it's like 10,000 baht plus, lesser compared to all the standard prices. When it comes to Photophile, I shop with them because they accept second-hand goods as well. And we can buy second-hand goods from Photophile.
You mean Photophile will sell things for you? They sell second-hand goods?
They sell second-hand goods as well. And we can sell off our used products to them as well. So
they don't give you top dollar for anything?
Of course not.
Right.
Of course not.
They kill you.
Yeah.
Whenever
it's
you go
very
to
low
sell
price.
anything.
Yeah.
It's murder in Thailand trying to sell second-hand stuff.
True.
And there is a newspaper called Kai D.
Right. Heard about it.
But I heard that a lot of crazy people show up when they're going to come to buy something.
Like what's a Craigslist?
Craigslist.
Yeah, like Craigslist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess it is, you know. But I never actually. I did sell something. I had a recumbent bike which is a bike with 3 wheels, and it has a seat just like a normal seat, and you can pedal in it all day long. You have 19 gears, and it's very common in Europe, in Holland. So a recumbent bike is great, and you steer sometimes with your hands at your side under the seat, and then cables run to the front wheel. So it's in New York City, where people are crazy about bicycles, you can find recumbents once in a while on the street, you know.
I would love to try it.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm confusing myself because I was telling you about a servant. Did I tell you that story?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. That guy, Richard Bober. Before I left for Bangkok, I sold him my recumbent. I had a recumbent that I bought in New York for about, at that time, and that was cheap, $500, and it was beautiful. And you could ride and never feel it. Because of you're comfortably sitting in like a living room chair with your feet going forward. It's pretty cool.
I think I can imagine it. Like you don't even have to put your hands on the handlebar. You can just steer it from under your hands.
Actually your hands are underneath your seat. There's a handlebar, and your brakes and everything are down there on the side.
So relaxed.
So Jay, here's what happened actually. How this all took place. I went up, I'm on the escalator going to the bank or something to get money at an ATM, and I said, why didn't I just invite these people to come to the cafe? Because we have so few customers here, you know. This place, I think the Thais think it's too good for, and it must be expensive. So all my neighbors here rarely ever come here. And we used to get a few teachers in the school, until they put all these security measures in place. And then it started to thin out, and then pretty much now we're lucky if we see 5 customers in a week. So my poor wife comes here, we buy, she makes fresh pies and cakes, and we use premium croissants from a company that sells them part baked, but it's they supply the Oriental, and we're buying the same croissants, and the salmon is from another supplier. And if you don't buy, these people are selling retail, wholesale. So if you don't buy an enormous amount, they won't take you on as a customer, you know. So restaurants have to buy quantity. So we've done that, and now customers are not here. So our freezer is in a bedroom around the back of the building behind us. So I'll show you. I'll just show you the room. Anyhow, the thing is, I thought, why not invite these 2 people? I think the last thing you said is that you were YouTubers. And that got me so excited because I haven't met anybody that has a channel. So first of all, how did you meet? Let me get to the beginning of this.
I will let my wife, who is the start of YouTube channel, to talk about her journey.
Okay, let's start with the YouTube channel a bit, because that came before we met.
Lisa, where did you go to school?
For my high school, I went to the Regent School, international school.
Oh, international.
I think you know that school, Regents.
Yeah, of course I do.
I started with Pattaya campus for 1 term, and then I moved to Bangkok, closer to my house. And then I went to Assumption University in Thailand for my bachelor's.
It's a Catholic school.
Right, yeah.
So what did you do with all the Catholic dogma that's being thrown at you every day?
Nah, nothing really happened. I just went to class.
You're still Buddhist?
On paper.
Okay.
I just tag along with my family sometimes, but you know, they let me decide.
Among Jews, if you're not a really serious Jew, like an Orthodox Jew, we call them Reformed. I don't know what we're reformed into, but my family was Reformed. So Yom Kippur, which is the most holy day on the Jewish calendar, it's a day of repentance for all your sins. And I remember as a little boy going to a synagogue with my mother, and the women and men are not allowed to sit together. So her only utterance to me before she dismissed me to the men's, thank God, the men's section of the synagogue, she said,
ask God for forgiveness for all your sins. And she emphasized all my sins. So I was wondering, geez, Mom, what the hell did I do? You know, what were my sins? So I went to the men's section, and I was sitting there, and that kept going through my head, for all your sins. In other words, I wasn't a good boy. I was very, very argumentative when I was little, and very confrontational, and I brought a lot of hell into my family, mostly issues with women and everything else. And also, the old people, the older people, they have a certain amount of racism, you know. So I was the one who was fighting for justice in my family. So every dinner became an argument that I proceeded, and well, I'm not eating this dinner then, you know. And so, and my mother would just slap me in the face and finish your mashed potatoes and shut up.
Very strict.
I'm sorry I broke into this.
It's okay.
So you're a born again Christian. No, you are a reformed Buddhist.
Yeah, or atheist,
Right.
or whatever it is.
Right. What do you do about the very high Buddhist holidays?
I just travel abroad. I
You
just
travel. So you're
because-
not in Thailand.
No, I just run away and escape. Even Songkran.
Did you ever have
biggest-
an experience that made you feel this way?
Yeah, like going to the temple. I mean, it wasn't a bad experience. It's just boring, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, it's peaceful, it's calm, but you know, Thailand is really hot, and going to temples, especially during the day, is just uncomfortable, and
Right.
it takes a long time. And I remember as a kid when I had to sit on the floor to chant those prayers,
Right.
my legs would get
Cramp.
cramps, yes, pins and
Right.
needles,
Right.
and I'll be like, oh no, what's the point of doing this?
Right,
And I
right.
don't understand the chants because they're in Pali language.
Well, you
And
know,
I'm-
I don't understand the chants
Yeah.
either, because my wife's a very stern Buddhist,
Yeah.
and she tells me I want to be good, and that's her motto. She always wants to be good. She is good, the goodest person I ever met in my life, actually. So at night she chants, and my prayers are like, I talk to God about all the kids I grew up with, and I must recite about 200, 300 names. It takes me 2 hours to get through the list of people, but all the kids I went to grammar school, and I thank my teachers individually, and I thank God for giving me great teachers, and my prayers are very different. But when I hear her chanting, I don't know, it sounds, there's a word in catechistic. Catechistic means that you follow the dogma of the school or the religion
Yeah.
without questioning.
Understanding it.
Yeah, but my relationship with God is a personal relationship, and thank you for getting me through that disease and this. Yeah, I have a lot of things to thank for. And I had a great father and a great mother who really loved me. She called me her prize, even though I started all the arguments in the family. And maybe that's why she liked me.
Maybe they were more sensitive
So how
than
did-
common people.
I want to know how you guys met.
So I started the channel 1 year before we met, and it was a travel vlog basically, and we met online. And
A couple of years.
yeah, we met online 2 years ago
Where was he?
in Thailand. He was already in Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were living here.
Yeah, I've been here for about 7 years now.
Are you a Thai citizen?
No, not yet.
No, you're an Indian citizen.
Indian citizen. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm kind of
Sorry.
prying. Do you have a marriage visa?
Well, I have a work visa.
I have a work visa too. Yeah.
And we have our marriage registered according to Thai law.
Have what?
Marriage registered according to Thai law.
Marriage.
Like a marriage license.
Oh,
we have
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't need to have a marriage visa.
Oh,
But if I don't have a work visa, then I can have a marriage visa.
you can have a marriage
Yeah,
visa.
correct. Yeah.
And did you go to India to get married?
Well, I went to India for another reason, but then we got married in India.
I
Thai
noticed.
embassy.
Yeah.
I noticed that because you were in a uniform of some sort, or maybe that's just the regalia of an Indian marriage.
That's called sherwani.
Huh?
That's a wedding
What's
dress.
Sherwani?
Like, how to say? It's very
Sounds like a
comfortable.
sandwich.
That's shawarma. All right. Yeah, it's a kind of Hindi or Arabic word. So sherwani is a kind of a long, fancy clothing for men. Actually, it's a men clothing with a long knee-level kind of shirt and then a very loose pant.
Oh.
But everything about that shirt will be like so precious. Like it can be stitched with gems, can be very
gold.
embroidered
With gold.
with gold, like fleet patterns
Was
and
your
everything.
mother and father present at your wedding?
No, it's we bought it together actually. Yeah, we
You-
went for shopping together to buy that, and we got clothing for her. It's called lehenga. It's a very common clothing for women
Yeah.
with tops, short tops, and then a very long skirt. Yeah, so she wanted especially red color. So
Typical
yeah,
Indian wedding
Yeah.
dress.
You know, Alissa, I want to tell you that I thought I heard very subtly that you had a slightly Indian accent that you had picked up. Yeah, I mean, there was one time when you were just talking to each other, and I said, "My God, she sounds like an Indian. You have an Indian
Maybe.
accent." That I swear I detected that for a while. And how long have you been married?
Over a year now, about a year and a half.
Oh,
yeah, and
you're babies.
yeah, actually we
You're
spent
in the marriage world.
right.
Have you? Neither of you been married before?
No.
So, how did you fall in love? Can I ask that very intimate
right.
question?
I think you can continue with that story.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, from the online dating app, right? We got matched, and it was on a Sunday, so we
Who
both.
matched you? With Tinder?
Actually, I liked him first.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I had my profile up with all this philosophical stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she liked me, but then like
She liked the way you think.
I liked him first.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know exactly what she liked back then.
Yeah.
But then so I had this thing going on with the Facebook. It's a Facebook dating app,
Oh.
and
There's a dating app for Facebook?
unfortunately nobody in this world knows.
I've never
about
heard
it.
of
Yeah,
it.
right.
No,
And for some reason, I was at the point in my life where I was searching for a woman to marry. I crossed the point of dating, and it was the age for me to
Were
get
you
married.
allowed to date as a
I am
young
allowed to
Indian
date.
boy?
Yeah, I
You
mean
were?
everybody is allowed to date.
Oh.
Yeah.
So your parents didn't. It was traditionally it's a matching
Well,
thing,
correct,
isn't it?
correct. Arranged marriage is more preferable in India
Right.
compared to all these love marriages.
Right.
People are refrained from choosing their own partners, so it's not frowned upon, but they would prefer arranged marriage. It's just that Indian parents want the best for their kids.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's why they think that if they do find a girl, they do a better job in doing that rather than the kids themselves.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're adults and they're
Yeah,
much
correct,
smarter than
correct,
kids
yeah.
will ever be.
But if the person who their kid finds is good enough, they are great to them. Yeah. So when she matched me, I don't know how long has it been, I got a notification on Facebook saying that you have someone matched you. And I'm like, okay, because for me, I cannot go and search for women in dating app because it says that this service is not available for your location. And it's been like that for ages, so I just ignored it forever.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I get a notification saying that someone matched me, and I'm curious. Okay, I want to know who it is.
Right.
So I went into that profile, and I found that everything that I wanted from my partner is listed in her profile. And I was,
bullet points.
yeah, she
in
made
my
a bullet point.
He actually went down with a pencil and checked and said,
Yeah.
It's like a
yeah,
checkbox.
these are
Yeah.
lining up.
Right. Better than me, she would say, what is the checklist? I think it's an interesting checklist. But then like, it was very interesting for me as well. It's like a biodata.
Right.
And it's in a dating app profile. I'm like, okay, interesting. I want to continue the conversation. So I matched. And then we started that conversation Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m.
And that was actually talking to each other online?
Online,
Texting.
yes, texting.
We were texting.
I
We were
hate
just-
texting. Yeah.
Me too, but
Yeah.
it was so curious
Yeah,
at that point that we
Yeah.
continued texting.
Ah.
I think you can continue the story.
We texted 12 hours straight.
Oh my God.
Entire Sunday was consumed by that.
Yeah.
Okay,
And yeah, the checklist was just my deal breakers basically. So like hobbies, or the fact that I'm not political, I'm not religious. Like, these are big deal breakers for me. If
Right.
somebody's the opposite.
I bet you nobody's ever interviewed you too. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, nobody's
Actually,
interviewing me.
no proper interviews, but everybody who see us for the first time, they would ask the same question as you.
Everything
Yeah,
I've asked.
everything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
I thought when I first saw you, just thought you were a pretty unique couple, and there must be a great story here in you too.
yeah, it's a boring story.
And that you were YouTubers, which I attempt to do, probably badly, but I do it. But I did it out of that we're so, I still don't even understand it, but as a foreigner and expatriate here, I noticed that most of the people that I work with for 27 years, shoulder to shoulder, am I bitching here? Yes, I am bitching. When I left, I really didn't have any friends. They didn't come over and eat or have a cup of tea with me. So I was retired with no friends, and it was a little disturbing. I thought, God, I remember America. I had plenty of friends when I was a teacher, and I lived in a basement apartment, and the kids used to interfere with my privacy. They used to come to the basement apartment, look in the basement window, figuring out if I was home or not, knock on the window. These are kids leaving school the same time I was leaving school, and they'd come in. At that time, I was a puppeteer on the outside, making puppets for Jim Henson and the Muppets.
I saw that video.
Yeah, I told you about that. And so the kids wanted to see a puppet being made, what monster I was working on now, And not only that, I had teachers drop in, uninvited, just to have a cup of tea and bullshit. That doesn't happen here. And perhaps one of the things could be is that I monopolize conversations. And that's born into me. I love to talk as a teacher. And I don't know, maybe I was just, there's a word I'm trying to find, but I can't find the word now. Too old for that. But maybe it was that I'm not, not a nice guy or not interesting or whatever. But it really hurt me that.
I have an opinion for that.
Can you imagine retiring from a school and then you think you're going to all be friends again? Because I know what friendship is in America, and it's way different. You make a friend, and the guy winds up being your best friend. Right. I had that happen to me as a kid. I had so many things in common with other kids that we wound up being best friends. But this was a desert. When I came out here, it was arid and empty and not much compassion or care. So I noticed that expats here just care about themselves and also care about survival here. Getting your work permit, getting your visa. There's a lot of challenging things you have to do here. To pay your phone bill, you have to have your passport with you. It's like living in communist China or something. Yeah. So there were some things here that my wife and I could have built this cafe on Mars, and it wouldn't have made any difference. No. We wouldn't have seen any more people than we do here. And I have often talked to some of the other expats that I went to school with, and I voiced exactly what I'm telling you, that I think friendship here is bullshit. I just feel so alienated that I might as well just be on Mars. And that's how I started YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I started looking at the camera and I said, this camera really loves me, so go ahead, Jer. Talk for an hour and a half about, bitch about everything, you know, and that's how I started to use you. It was actually wonderful because it saved me getting a therapist.
True, yeah.
Because I was really on the verge of loneliness and going nuts and being depressed. I was depressed a lot about it. But now, and that's one of the reasons that I teach, because I have lots of friends.
Right.
You know, I am in sort of an authoritarian position, but the kids like me and I love the kids. So if I retired and didn't have children and work to do it at least once or twice a week, I would totally go nuts because the kids keep me alive. They're young and there's so much they don't know. So, you know, before I was telling you, I would have, if I had a school, I would have everybody over 70 or 80 years old could teach in my school only.
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah.
You know what schools do now in Thailand? 65 and out. Yeah, it's very hard to teach in any international school past 65.
I think same in India. India is the same, yeah, 65.
I thought Indians regard old people as, you know, very...
Not too
like
old that you don't
prophets.
make more money for the schools.
Ah.
They're first they're capitalists, then they are they respect their gurus.
Well, I think Thai schools, international schools, are looking for kun too, and that's marketing is really important. Now there's so much competition. There's over 200 schools in Thailand that are international schools.
Right, yeah. Actually, these international schools, they want more white-looking people than people like me, like Indians or...
Yeah, except I have to say that ISB had 56 different nationalities. The school I'm in now, most of the kids are just Thai or Lukun. I have something else.
Like me, mixed.
But everybody speaks English, and I can speak enough Thai from my long-hair dictionary who taught me all this stuff. You know.
I actually have an opinion about alienation in Thailand. When
I know what you're going to talk about.
All right.
Are you going to talk about being a dark person?
No.
No?
Not going into that rabbit hole.
Do you feel that at all?
Well, people do treat dark people differently.
We talked about it this morning, actually, just this morning.
Right?
Yeah, we talk about everything. So we have one-on-one, like, open discussion about everything. So we want to come to a, how to say, peace of mind. That's it. For me, at least, this is my opinion. It's not about people disrespecting me or something. I'm not going to talk about it, but it's about about the friendship, like people who we meet and then forget about them, right? Back when I was a kid, when you started your career, when you were in US or like 27 years ago, during those times, we had nothing that is captivating us to stick to our chair and stay at home. No, for us, it was like go out, play, make friends, you know, invite them for lunch, dinner. I remember going into all of my friends' house every single day. I will have a schedule for the entire week, visiting all of my friends every single day and inviting them to my house, treating them. And it's like such a, how to say, culture where we form bonding, physical bonding.
Warm.
Yeah. Warm, yes.
Yeah, warm.
It was so wholesome.
Yeah.
When I was in Thailand, for 4 years, I was in Lampang. There was this neighbor, such a lovely neighbor. She took care of me in my health and sickness anytime. She's an old grandma, and she thinks that Lampang is a very remote region. And so, and I'm a foreigner who can't speak who can't speak Thai. So I need to be protected from all the Thai people who are like, who might be discriminating me. So she had this huge sphere around me so that she would feed me, she would take me to places, she would like actually take care of me. And not just her daughters too, she has 2 daughters. They would invite me to go anywhere with them. They would invite me to go to travel. Not just them, even their friends circle. Everybody like took care of me so well. and I took her to those places after we met, and the energy did not reduce at all. Like the
Very
way,
nice, yeah.
yeah, this comes from the culture. The culture now has changed so much. It's not about us. Like we might think that okay, this entire place is alienated, but I think the way that people tend to study now, they get more information from internet. They are bound to stay inside the house. If at all they go outside, they want to go to a touristic location, a place that they can enjoy, feel relaxed, enjoy the nature. They want to avoid people most of the time because I think they have this feeling that okay, we get all the information from internet anyway. People nowadays are bullshitting more compared to before. People are more truthful back then compared to how they are now. And most of the people who talk about stuff, they don't know the stuff at all. They just want to talk. Like I've seen more this is just my experience, and I have seen all those cases, and so people want to be more introverted than extrovert. And nowadays I see like out of 100 people, 10 may be extroverted, and rest they just don't want to mind their own business. So in a way, I don't want to change their mindset, but if at all we try to communicate with them, I think they would put in more effort to communicate with us. It's just the lack of effort that's there right now.
One of the things in our culture now is these screens.
Correct.
And you go on the Rutpaipa, the transportation, and you look, and everybody's looking at, and I want to know what the hell's so important on that screen. So I've managed to crane my head over, one of the rudest things you can do, and get in their private space. And I want to see their game. That's that good. That's fun. What are they doing? And it turns out every screen I see, they're doing nothing. They're just texting somebody and all. So eye to eye and conversations like we're having right now have been reduced. The culture's changed completely to smartphones. You don't have a smartphone, but now they made it possible. No matter how poor you are, you can go in and walk out with a $1,200, $1,400 smartphone and be willing to pay for it for 15 years in small payments, with the included what do you call it, profit and
Interest rate.
Interest rate. Thais will do anything to have anything. And what do you want? They want a car. Why? Walking is much better for you. And they want a car. They want a big screen TV. They want a beautiful condo. I look at all the things they want, I happen to marry a wife who wants nothing. And
same here.
Made a friend with a bird, and that's it, Talks to him more than she talks to me sometimes. But you're right. It's alienating, and it's what I noticed here. And I was very sad, and I've told her many times, and she stayed here all day, ready to cook for somebody, and she's good enough to come in and put up with this. And I said, honey, watch your Chinese soap operas, do what you like to do, and the hell with business. Yeah, I would not pack this place in because I put my heart into it. We planned this cafe for about 2.5 years, and our home the same. Another 2.5 years, I was making sketches of our house because I knew I had built up a provident fund at the school.
Okay.
So I walked away with some very handsome money, and I used it to buy have a house made for me to my own order, and this place as well. This is all provided by a friend who's an architect, and he has a similar layout to this that he makes for the king's property.
Wow.
So, and then the other part of his business is sending these to Europe because they look like they belong in Europe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. But it's a sad truth. There's a sort of sadness behind
this
it.
is how the world is now.
Yeah. So,
Especially after COVID-19. Yeah.
Huh?
Especially after the pandemic.
yeah, I know the COVID had a huge effect on everybody. I didn't want to go out. A lot of my neighbors were body bagged and died.
Right.
They live in attached housing, and they all got it from each other. So ambulances would come in my neighborhood at night with just the lights on, and there was a complete hazmat team in the ambulance. They would get out and spray the houses, spray the bodies, body bag them, and then they would get dressed in these space suits, you know.
Right. Hazard suits.
Everybody was really frightened.
Right.
And my age, I said, if I get this, I'm going to be dead. We each have 5 vaccines. I don't know if that's good or bad right now. Nope, the world is finding out it's probably not good to get all the boosters and all.
It's okay. It's done.
Were you in India when the COVID struck?
No, I was still here.
Oh, you were here?
Yeah, I was still here.
Did
I
it
got my
affect
first
you at
vaccine.
all?
Actually, yeah, it did once. Well, it was the later stage when it was the effect were too numb. Like how to say, when we got affected. Actually, we both got affected, and it was just like a cold. It's just like a regular fever.
Passed through it.
Yeah.
We got it early last year.
Yeah.
So the symptoms were very mild.
Yeah, that was when Omicron.
I think that was the
variants.
Could be,
The variants were around, and it wasn't the big thing anymore. But people in Thailand are still wearing masks in department stores, and taxis wear masks, and everybody.
When it started, I was in Singapore. I was traveling for work, and it was like in 2020, February, I was in Singapore. And that time, Thailand was about to close the borders to Singapore, block everybody coming inside. So we narrowly missed that point, and right after like 2 or 3 days, they blocked every incoming passengers. Because Singapore at that time, they were one of the first few to get affected. And they immediately controlled. They had
corporal.
So when we flew from there, we had a very high chance of coming here and spreading the virus. So we came here, we immediately went for this World Medical, that's right here. Yeah, we went there, checked our bodies, and then, not her, like my colleagues. Yeah, so we checked our bodies, nothing was there. So, and then we got quarantined for 14 days, then it was all okay. I think you're a great teacher, actually. In my opinion, you not only teach the subject, you also teach life values more than...
My children say that to me a lot, you know.
I have it.
And I think I have the only classroom where the kids walk out saying, Mr. Hochberg, we love you. And I said, I love you guys too. I would go nuts without you guys. So it's really good, you know. The teaching has always been the passion of my life. So let's go up to my workshop.
Sure, yes.
Take a look.
Can't tell you the joy of showing off my beautiful silver workshop and my wood shop just below it. The work is overwhelming. It's work on the trade level from students that start in the 8th grade all the way up to adults. And many people have been trained in this workshop. I have 4 stations for 4 people with a complete set of tools for each person. And generally a workshop runs 2 hours. And they were a little overwhelmed when they walked in and saw the density of the place. It's a little overwhelming seeing all the thousands of tools, and literally thousands of tools. And this little puppet that I made out of pure silver, I made it about 12 years ago, and it's still hanging over my bench. In this place they can construct silver rings and pendants and bracelets, and all with real expertise. I couldn't wait to also show them how I developed and planned the property. This means a lot to me to have an outdoor area where I thought teachers from ISB could come over to the gazebo and sit down and have a cup of coffee with a canopy of trees and absolute silence every day. It's so quiet here. So it really didn't make any difference to me whether we had customers or not. This was our lifelong dream to develop this. It took 12 years, and I was so pleased to show it off to these people that I met at Central, and of all places in a camera store. And this gentleman is a wonderful YouTuber. He shoots everything in 4K, and he can shoot in 8K, and he has just wonderful expensive equipment. I noticed the next day he wrote this review of our restaurant on Google, the cafe and the workshop. So I thought he was very kind to do that. And it's just nice meeting people and relating to them and finding out their story, where they come from, because Bangkok is the most exotic city to me in the world.